it's like, what do you say now? You know, it's like you just got past the awkward stage. It's like, now I got to say something.
Yeah, that's all right, man.
Yeah.
I live my life in the awkward stage, man.
That's it. How are the interviews then? Like you do, I'm sure that you've done quite a few. Is there some of them? You know, does it get awkward at times?
No, man. You know, generally, you know, if people are interviewing you, it's you know, it's varying levels of how things go. You know, some people are really interested, and some people just got to get it over with. Either which way, you know, try to do the best job you can from wherever I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. If people want long, interesting answers, I'll try to be long and interesting. If they want short, quick ones, we can do that too. Mm-hmm. So
we can do either one. So awesome, man. Well, thanks for taking time. We
no
really
problem.
Appreciate it. We'll just jump right into it.
Cool.
So, Give It Back to You, Grammy nominated. The music, the songs there have resonated pretty well with I think the audiences that you guys are playing to, and that you guys are wanting to attract, and that's pretty much everybody. It's a wide mix. You know, you have a diverse sound. Number one, you know, Off the Ground hit number one on adult alternative, and again, the songs resonate. The music is positioning you so that you can work with notable bands and acts, notable venues. You guys are doing a lot of things over the past year that has probably been a little bit exciting, I would imagine.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we certainly didn't expect anything like a Grammy nomination or stuff like that when we wrote this record. We were just trying to make the best possible, most honest and real thing we could. And we wanted to do something that we really liked, you know, that we felt very proud of, and we just did it ourselves, and we didn't think, you know, and then we just hit the road, and then about a year after it came out, it got that Grammy nomination, which that was a really shocking thing. The song hitting the top of the charts was definitely a shocking thing. I think when one of the people that works at the label, one of the first times we met them, she said to me, I think this song's going to get on the charts, and I laughed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I was like, that doesn't happen to guys like me, you know. It's been a surprise. It's been exciting. It's been cool. Doing things like opening for John Mayer and playing like, you know, Madison Square Garden is certainly something I never thought.
Choke you up a little bit.
Yeah, right. Madison Square Garden. I never thought I'd walk my guitar through the front door of that place, and I actually did. You know, because I mean, it's not like we're some big superstar band, you know. I mean, I'm still walking my guitar through the door at the end of the day, so it's like, you know, it's weird to go through security of places like that and be like, this is different, you know. So it's cool, man. But in the end, it's all about the music and the show. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what really flips the switch for us.
Mm-hmm. You described the process for making the first album as one where you were putting out songs until you reached the point where the vibe I got was that until you reached the point where you felt comfortable that you had a base.
Yeah. So
does number two work the same way, or tell us about how?
No, we're going to put out a full-length record.
Okay.
And we're in the process of completing it. I'd like to say completing it. We're in the process of writing, recording it as we speak. We're on the road right now, so obviously we're not recording it right now, but once we get done here in a couple of days, we're going to start working on it. So we'll put in a lot of time in October and November on this thing, and even part of December, and then we'll have it ready to go for the beginning of next year.
Wow.
You know, so
awesome.
I'm excited about it, man. I'm liking what we're coming up with. You know, you try to make songs and a record that's honest to where you are when you're making, you know, and you can't go backwards in your life and try and recapture anything. You have to. I think it's really important, at least for us, to be honest about where we are at, and where we're at is a lot different place than we were when we started. So, not necessarily better or worse, but just different. You know, so it's like, just try to reflect that honestly. That it's okay to evolve. It's okay to take the 2.5 years of touring we've done since we released that record and get it into this one, you know, or since we recorded it, you know. So there's been a lot of experiences we didn't know anything about before we made Give It Back to You record. So it's going to be interesting to see how those come together.
For sure. Well, for sure. Something completely on a separate topic, but kind of fun. You mentioned this. You describe it as circular giving. And
Yeah,
this is
sure.
when you're at a show, when you're playing a show, and typically we like to think of it as the artists are expressing themselves in this direction, and that's the flow. But you're saying that that's a little bit different. It's actually a circular thing.
It
where
is, I feel.
fans or the audience is directly impacting your performance. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it's like throwing logs on a fire. You've got a fire, it's burning, and then people start adding to it. You keep putting your energy towards it, and other people start throwing things around. We play music that's rooted in our emotions and our feelings, and it's not trying to be robotic about it. You know, that's not what would work with what we do. Not trying to be overly premeditated. You know, trying to stay in the moment of what we're actually doing and let that be whatever it is. And yeah, I think it's really important, and it's something I learned watching guys that have been doing it a lot longer than me, that do it a lot as honest as you possibly can, and like, you know, playing with Buddy Guy or just, you know, even younger artists like watching Nathaniel Rateliff play or something, you know, watching John play to a huge crowd. You know, you see this exchange, and I think it's just a spiritual thing, you know. Whether I'm not putting that spiritual out there in like some sort of bigger it's human soul and spirits that are adding to this thing together, and that's a healing thing. It's a lot of fun, and so that's the way I see it. That's why I describe it that way, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I like to invite people to be a part of it. You know, we sing out, we like people to sing back, do whatever. If I see somebody doing something goofy, I'll be like, hey man, what's going on over here? You know what I mean? It's like, why be uptight, you know?
Right. You played Red Rocks recently.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
That was the first time, I believe. And actually, it was on August the 16th, I believe. And I was actually there on August the 15th to see Young the Giant. I just really wanted to know, why didn't you call me, man?
If I'd have known, man, I'd have called you.
But for real, what was it like? What was that experience like, playing there for the first time on a venue that's so, you know, it's hallowed ground for all of us, you know, musician, art lovers out there?
It was so inviting. The place was inviting. You'd expect to be nervous, you know. It wasn't like that, man. It was very communal. It was very together. I've never seen it. I made a little promise to myself when I was like 14 that I wouldn't go, and this I've tried to stick to it, but it hasn't totally worked. But like, I wouldn't go anywhere, do much traveling unless my guitar took me there, and that was kind of my little commitment. You know, growing up on a farm, being like, this is how I'm gonna get out into the world. You know. And so I never made the pilgrimage to Red Rocks because you know, I was hoping that someday maybe I could walk in through the back door, you know. And I don't know if that's a good way to do things or not, but it's the way I did it. And it was something else to walk in through the back door and walk in and see it open up in front of you, and then do sound check and hear that. And we were playing with Trombone Shorty, who we're playing with tonight, so we know those guys really well. So there was a really family kind of together feeling backstage. So it was awesome, man. It's one of the most amazing sounding places I've ever been to. It just has something with a natural rock holding everything, and then I don't know, it's beautiful.
It's a natural theater for sure.
It's a thrill, no question about it. It's an honor to play there.
So, when it comes to the Revivalists and Marcus King, these are bands that you guys are close to.
Love those guys.
And you love those guys. So, what is it that you could share with the world about David Shaw or Marcus King that the world doesn't already know, that won't end your relationship with David
That won't
Shaw
end my.
King?
Look what he's putting me through, guys. Dave and Marcus, don't hate me up. No, what I will say is that, well, starting with David and the Revivalist gang, well, for one thing, all three of us are on the same label group, so we're in it together, you know. David and the guys in the Revivalists are just freaking ridiculously kind people and amazing songwriters, and they care about their audience. They care about the bands they play with. They care about the quality of show they're putting on, and they're extremely down-to-earth guys. Not anything about them that's anything other. You can walk right up to them and you're going to be completely at ease. You know, they're very and they're funny. They're all freaking hilarious in that band. So they're great. And Marcus, actually, interestingly enough, the first time we saw Marcus play was right here in town, in Mobile. He jumped on our tour last year, the Give It Back to You tour, and he was the end leg. It was 10 dates with him opening, and he is a sweet, sweet, sweet soul, and he is a monster, monster talent. I mean, just inspires everybody that watches him, and it doesn't affect him. He just is doing his thing. He's a great performer, great musician, and wise beyond his years as a player and a person. So, but also very approachable. You know, real down-to-earth kid. So, both of those guys are family. You know, it's family at this point. We play shows with them. We just did a show with both of those bands. You know. Again, and I'm sure we'll be seeing both of them in 2018 again. And every time we do, it's a blast. We have some drinks, we have some laughs, watch each other's shows, and keep on rolling. You know, it's the kind of community I always wanted to be a part of.
Awesome, man. So you didn't throw them under the dirt. So you definitely
hell no, man. I couldn't if I tried.
You're definitely close.
Maybe you don't want to ask them what they think about me though. I'm just kidding. I hope.
I think that's all we really wanted to cover. I do have one other thing that I wanted to do though while we're here is you mentioned the word communal earlier. Mm-hmm. So I actually just got back from Burning Man.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm sure that you're familiar with.
Sure. I've never been there, but
you can go with me next year.
All right, cool, man.
So I brought you guys. So Burning Man, there's 10 principles, and one of them that's kind of the really important one is the gifting thing. So I brought you guys, there's 3 of you, and I brought you 3 gifts.
Oh.
Since it's just you and I talking, you get to pick, there's going to be 3, and you get to disperse the other 2 accordingly. It could be given to Alex and Mark, or you could give it to fans, either way. It's completely up to you.
That's really cool, man.
As a token of appreciation for giving me a little bit of time to talk to you today.
Oh, no.
So here we go. The first one is Palo Santo wood. So I like herbs and incenses, and Palo Santo wood is something that you just burn kind of like incense.
Cool.
It smells amazing. I got the idea from a concert where right before the show, this aroma of Palo Santo wood started to fill the House of Blues in New Orleans at a Young the Giant show, and I was like, okay, well, Palo Santo resonates with musicians, so
yeah, I love it, man. I love stuff like this.
Burn that. It's
all right,
awesome.
I'll burn it.
Burn it. These are at Burning Man. There's a 747 hull that's cut out, and it's a 24-hour rager.
Yeah.
Party, like the most rager of ragers that you've ever seen. And I was able to acquire a pair of wings from that 747.
What?
You guys to have that.
Well, you're really generous, man. Thanks.
And lastly, at that same near that same place, there was an 8 a.m. or an all night rave again. And when you went to get your drink, Burning Man doesn't take any money, so you have to bring in trash from the desert to pay for your drink. And whenever I did, they gave me this cup. So
oh, man.
That's a cup from Burning Man, a piece of Palo Santo wood from Burning Man, and a pair of wings.
Thanks, man. That's really sweet of you. Thanks.
Loved it.
Hey,
thank you.
Here we go. This ain't very expensive, but this is a pick I did sound check with.
Thank you very much. Chris Voss, the lead singer of the record company, who's playing tonight in Mobile, Alabama, with Trombone Shorty. We just got to interview him and talk with him and meet him, and now we're really excited for the show. And thank you, Chris.
My pleasure, man. Thank you. Nice being a good spirit and a good soul, man.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
You too, man.
See you all down the road.